What's up, future millionaires? Today in this video, I want to walk you through how I made over $50,000 last month and how I did it without working ridiculous hours. The reason I'm making this video is because talking about income and how much you make in general is usually a very taboo subject, and not many people are willing to talk about it. But I have a strong belief you need to know, how much people make and what their income looks like in order to gain more financial education. And I want to be able to pass this knowledge and this information along to more people, and especially the younger generation, so they can learn what it's like to make this level of income and how you make it and where that money goes and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's jump right into the video. So to get straight to the point, I own a Facebook advertising agency for car dealerships. I started this business 5 years ago, and basically what that means is we run Facebook ads to help car dealerships sell more cars. We're currently working with about 40 car dealerships across the US, and each client pays us anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 a month for us to manage their ads and help them make more sales. So what I want to do for you today in this video is break down how we made our money, where we spent it, to show you how I made over $50,000 in profit last month. With that said, let's jump into the computer and I'll walk you through how we did it. All right, so what I'm gonna do for you guys is walk you through our business profit and loss report from last month. Now I know this might look super boring right now, and don't worry, I'm gonna make this really easy and we're just gonna cover the main points of this, not gonna cover everything here. So I'm gonna walk you through this because this will show you how we make our money, how much we make, where we spend it. And then what we're gonna also get into next is gonna be more of our business structure, how we get clients, all that kind of stuff. And how do you build a business that's not relying on you, and how you make this level of income. So that's give you a quick rundown. But with that said, let's kind of break down the profit and loss so you guys can see how much money in sales we generated last month, and then also where we spent the money. So let's jump right into it. So to start off, in terms of income last month, how much money the business generated in sales, we did about $80,000 in sales last month. And so with just one refund, it ended up bringing that down to $78,000. Now, with that said, if we go and look down farther, you're going to start seeing the expenses here. And the first expense you're going to see here, that's one of the more major ones, is advertising and marketing. This is basically money we spend to run advertisements to promote our Facebook marketing agency. And most of this we run on Facebook and YouTube. There's been previous months where we spent a lot more money on this. We spent up to $12,000 a month on this. But these last couple months, our ads have been performing very well, so we've been able to scale that money back and save some money there. One of the next biggest expenses in any business, especially a service-based business, is going to be labor. And now with that said, you're going to see this officer payroll here, which is $8,333 a month. That's basically my salary. It's a salary of $100,000 per year. The reason why I pay myself a salary is so that I can get special tax benefits. What you'll see here next is contractors, 1099. So we currently don't have any W-2 employees. Everyone in our business is a contractor. With that said, we spend $18,000 a month on basically the contractors of our business, which I'll walk you through who those are and what they do very shortly here, so you can kind of understand that. So that's what it looks like in terms of labor, about $18,000 if you take out how much I'm getting paid as far as my salary. Now, the next biggest thing here that you're going to see is software. And of course, with running an online business, you're going to need some software to run your business. You got to have email accounts, you got to have video sharing, communication channels. You have to have special tools that we use to run our marketing agency. And ours is a little bit high, to be honest, but we currently spend about $4,600 a month on software. There are a couple of random expenses like legal, professional fees, making contracts, doing an accountant, getting tax done, all that kind of stuff. But to break it down from there, there's not really too much more. I mean, we invest into training and education. Those expenses will go up and down. We do team retreats once a year. So of course that will be a big expense 1 month out of the year every year. In terms of everything else, that's pretty much it. So you can see how this super complicated thing actually breaks down pretty simply. And then finally, you'll see what the net income here after all expenses is $42,000. If you take that $42,000 and then you add it the officer payroll, my salary, you'll see how you get a $50,000 a month income. Now, one last thing I want to say before I move on that you really need to keep your eye out for when people are talking about how much money their business makes is most of the time when people share how much money they're making when they have a business, they're usually sharing revenue numbers. And someone may also have a partner as well, and if they're saying they make $50,000 a month profit, really they're making $25,000 a month take-home money because they have a business partner that they're splitting the money with 50%. So you have to keep in mind, majority of businesses usually have a profit margin of 30% or less. And so fortunately for me, in this month at least, my business profit is somewhere like 66%, which is really, really great. And being 100% transparent with you, this has been our best month yet. Business goes up and down. There's months where we may make $20,000 a month. There's business we make now $50,000 a month, but I would say more of the average that it's been for us over the last year has been more like the 30 to 40,000 range. Once again, you always need to remember on social media, people are always showing the highlights. They're always showing you the best month out of the year, and they're inflating their numbers as much as they humanly possibly can. They're not telling you their profit numbers, they're telling you your revenue numbers. So just keep in mind, social media is like the highlight, so don't feel like you have to over compare yourself. And you also need to keep in mind, this took me over 5 years to build up. I started this business over 5 years ago. So it's not like I started this 12 months ago and all of a sudden making $40,000 a month. Look, it's not any get rich quick scheme. I took a big risk on starting this business and I put in the work every single day over the course of many years to be able to get it to this point here. So let's go more into detail how our business works and how you can build a business that's not reliant on you, basically. The most beautiful part of this is not how much money I make, believe it or not. The most beautiful part about what I do is the time freedom that I have and the financial freedom that I have because of this business, right? So I can spend as little as 2 to 3 hours a day on this business. And so because of that, I can spend the rest of my day doing whatever else I want, or I can go on vacations pretty regularly, which is also awesome because we allow our team members to go on regular vacations too whenever they want. But the bigger part of this, rather than the financial freedom, is the time freedom to do what I want and spend the life the way that I want. And this is the part that most people get wrong. And this is also something very interesting to note about what I was talking about earlier in terms of people showing their highlights of their life is most people making that same kind of income or more are absolute workaholics, just to be 100% honest with you. And it's been really cool to build this business in a way that it runs itself like a real business. And I feel more like an owner rather than an employee of my own business. So let's talk about that and how I built this business to this point. You know, of course, it wasn't always like that, especially the first year. You're not going to expect that whatsoever. I would say you need at least a year before you're going to start probably hiring people. Well, you can hire people before that, of course, but a year before you're going to like really start taking yourself out of the business and be more of like an owner role. Now, with that said, the first thing you need to have a successful business, whatever it is you must have a good offer and you have to have a way to generate customers. So for us, our offer is help car dealerships make more sales. So in order to find an offer, you first need to find a problem. I mean, everybody knows that, right? It's like the basics of business. But for us, our problem is car dealerships want to make more sales. We help them make more sales with Facebook advertising. Now, secondly is you need a good service, because if you have a good offer, but you don't deliver on what your offer is, then people aren't going to stay with you for very long. And so with that said is you need to get a good service. And so you need to figure out what is the best way to solve this problem, and then how do we do it in the best way possible. Basically do better than your competition, because why otherwise would people come to you? How can you do it better than other people? And just in a second here, we're going to get into how to make it rely on you, which is point number 3. These must be able to be replicated by other people. You can have these two, and you can do this as a freelance business. The same exact business that I'm doing, you could make $40,000 a month all on your own. Now, keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to be working a lot of hours, but it is possible, and I know plenty of people that do it. Now, that's more of like, I would consider like a freelancer role. You can easily make $10,000 a month running a marketing business or many other kinds of service-based businesses and make a $10,000 a month or more income just running the business completely by yourself. That comes with obviously the benefit of you don't have to deal with a team, you don't have to deal with hiring, you don't have to have the experience being a leader and have that practice, you don't have to worry about people messing things up. All that kind of stuff is the benefit, but obviously the downside is, one, you will have less time freedom, and secondly, it'll be harder for you to grow the business if you want to. And so number 3, it has to be replicated by other people. The reason why I make that delineation is because you could do these first 2 things, but if they can't be replicated by other people, you won't really be able to build a real business. With that said, there are some factors that play into that. You want to, with your sales pitch and everything, you might know the sales pitch in your head, but maybe you need to get it down on paper. You need to get a step-by-step process in place That way other people can learn and pick it up with what you do. Now there's more and more in details in there, because the first time you hire someone, you're probably not going to hire someone very good. So it takes practice to hire better and better people. You want to attract the best people to do it, because the better people you attract, the more the business will grow, the better job they'll do, the less stress you'll have. All of these things take practice and time, but these are the basic fundamentals in terms of how to do it. And then finally, you hire good people to complete all the tasks in the business. This is really how simple it is. In terms of the outline, this is how simple. Now in terms of the actual execution of every one of these 4 steps and doing it well, that's the hard part. And with that said, one thing that's really hard for a lot of people is actually letting go of tasks and being confident with and trusting other people to do the work. Just something you have to learn when you start a business, and it takes practice, of course. So in terms of our team, we have 5 team members. We have a sales rep who handles sales, obviously. We have an account manager who meets with all of our clients on a regular basis, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly with our 40 clients. Then we have one media buyer, which essentially runs the Facebook ads for the clients. The account manager and the media buyer communicate with one another to come up with new ideas, solutions to help our clients grow. And then the executive assistant mostly helps our account manager and our media buyer, and me also a little bit. And then you have the CEO, me, which essentially my responsibility is figure out how to move the business forward, solve our biggest bottlenecks, manage the team, make sure that everyone is doing their responsibility and doing it well, and then also hiring new people if we need to grow. Those are kind of my main responsibilities there. Now, with that said, the last thing I want to mention is once you have free time, you need to avoid over-managing. It's going to happen because you're going to get bored. You're going to feel like you're not doing anything. But if you really want to stop working in the business and you want to work on the business, you need to do business growth activities, or what's probably even better than micromanaging or over-managing is just do or spend the rest of the day however you want. Because otherwise, what was the point of creating all this? And the biggest trap that I see entrepreneurs fall into is they don't build their business the right way from the start with these 4 steps, and then they end up building themselves so integrated into the business that there's no way it can be replicated by other people. And then they also get a little bit of an ego about themselves, saying nobody else can do it as good as I can, or whatever you want to say. But I promise you there's probably somebody out there that can do it better than you, or at the very least can do it 80 to 90% as good as you, which is plenty enough for you to run an efficient business. So with that said, hope this video helped you. And if you enjoy content like this and want to see more, make sure to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.